Hi everyone. Today is April 13th, 2025, 6:14 a.m. Japan time. Yesterday was a national holiday in Japan, so I took the time to dig deeper into something I think people aren't really looking at right now, the China market. Right now, there's a lot going to between the US and China trade war tensions, tariff talks that aren't progressing, missing message on both sides. The US says negotiations are happening, but China denies it. At the same time, China is acting tough, especially in its messaging to the world. But honestly, not many people are paying attention to Chinese market right now. That's why I decided to take a deeper look. What I found is this: China's economy is hard to see through. The data is limited, access is restricted. We always focus on the US and Japan, but maybe the real risk is hidden in China. I usually look at the volatility index, so I tried to check China volatility index, but since 2022 it hasn't been published. That's a red flag. So I started modeling using the Seng index and any volatility data I could find, and it became clear to me Chinese market is one of the hardest to see inside. In the US or Japan, we have lots of indicators and data. Markets are watched by the world, so there's a kind of makeup. Everything is published, curated, presented nicely. That's natural. It's like people. When you are being watched, you wear makeup. But Chinese market, and no one is watching anymore. There is not in a watched profession anymore, so there's no makeup, just the raw numbers. That's why Hansen Volatility Index sometimes tells us more honest stories than SPX or Nikkei. So here's the scary thought: maybe the real danger right now isn't in the US, it's in China, and no one is watching. We've had warning signs before: the 2016 China shock, COVID starting in Wuhan, and now there real estate crisis. But we never really understand what's going on. So instead of fighting it, people stay indifferent. And that indifference, that's exactly what I see as the most dangerous part. Now, China's acting very tough toward Trump new tariff sets, but I think it could be bluff. And maybe the US sees through it. Maybe they know China is real internal trouble, and that's why the US is trying to separate from China to protect itself before China collapses. Think about it. Trump tariffs may look like trade protections, but what if they are actually a firewall? A way to force companies to shift supply chain to India, for example, to make sure the West doesn't go down with China. That could be the true strategy. And when we look at the bond market shaking right now, maybe it's not a coincidence. China holds a huge amount of US treasuries, but they can't easily sell them. If they do, it hurts their own currency reserves. So maybe the US is shaking its own bond market on purpose and to make China look more silently. to make China lose more silently. In other words, the US knows China can't sell treasuries, but by making it rise, they devaluate what China holds. That's a quite kind of economic war. And what's the end game? Maybe is this: replace China with India, US China, then separate from it. That's what the US may be doing now, quietly, strategically. So to wrap up, everyone is watching the US or Japan, but maybe the real breakdown is already happening in China, and no one sees it because no one's looking. I'll keep tracking this. If this resonates with me, feel free to follow. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.